The muddy farmers will be cleansed with water.
For a moment, I had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, I found myself soaked from head to toe as the woman in front of me dumped water over me. Wiping away the droplets dripping from my head, I gazed at the woman before me. And who might you be? Well, it doesn't really matter. You'll be held accountable for what you've done. I grinned there and delivered my ultimatum, making each word clear. Tell the president to cancel the $100 million deal.
What?
Not knowing that I was the CEO of the business partner, she threw water on my head. A deal? No way. My name is Cheryl Burt. I'm a 39-year-old running a company. Being called the CEO at this age usually surprises people at first, then they assume I inherited my parents' company. But I don't know if it's appropriate to say this, but I'm a self-made CEO. It all goes back to my days as a student. I loved clothes, so I attended a fashion school. I couldn't resist the fun of making clothes, so I ended up wearing the ones I designed and made myself every day. But just doing that wasn't enough to contain my interest, so I eventually started making my own underwear too. I couldn't be satisfied with store-bought underwear. I wanted underwear that would make me happier. I started making underwear that I thought was cute and posting it on social media. Luckily, it caught the attention of Korean pop stars. I suddenly received a message from a celebrity, and I was so shocked that I was speechless. I was delighted when people, using awkward English, praised the clothes I, an amateur, had made as cute. Where can I buy them? And awesome. Being honest, I replied, "Thank you, but these aren't for sale. They're just my hobby handmade creations." She was surprised to learn that I was still a student, and she wanted to buy some sample products. Feeling touched by her request, I designed underwear for her based on the measurements she had publicly shared. I attached a note saying that since it was a sample, I couldn't accept any money and sent it to her office. This action caused quite a stir. She wore the underwear and uploaded it to her social media, calling it super cute. In return for me, she posted a link to my social media site saying, "Super cute is here." People who saw her social media started flooding in with messages like, "I want one too. Where can I buy them?" And "So cute." My notifications kept buzzing for days. I was flustered by the sheer number of comments, so I hurriedly commented, "I'm still a student, and these underwear are all handmade. I'm sorry, but they're not for sale." Then someone appeared saying they would love to manufacture and sell them. That person turned out to be Hillary, who would later support me wholeheartedly.
Leave the manufacturing and sales to me. Let's deliver cute underwear to everyone.
Encouraging me when I lacked confidence, she gave me the push I needed to take a step forward. Before I knew it, despite still being a student, I became a designer for that company. Gradually, I was given a decent position within the company, but with that came a loss of freedom. I wanted to create cute according to my own standards. When I turned 30, I finally decided to start my own company. When I told Hillary that, she cheerfully supported me.
I'm looking forward to seeing the amazing creations you'll come up with. I'll be cheering you on.
So, with just a few employees who loved me and my designs, I started a small company. Thanks to the visibility on social media, work never stopped coming in. Now, that company has grown into a decent-sized enterprise, and I become the CEO of an apparel company with many designers and employees. And this year, to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the company's founding, I decided to launch a new brand that designs not only underwear but also cute clothes for the entire body. However, it seems difficult for the company that usually manufactures underwear to handle additional production, so I had to outsource the sewing of clothes to a new external company. Considering the global expansion, it's a large-scale project totaling $100 million. I can't leave it to just anyone. There's also the matter of assessing the prospective company. That's why I decided to visit them in person. However, I never expected to experience such a thing at that company. But to be honest, there were already some unpleasant incidents from the beginning. It was pouring rain on the day of the meeting. Since I happened to have something nearby, I decided to walk to the prospective company from there. As I was shaking off the raindrops from my umbrella at the entrance of the prospective company, a woman rushed over from outside. The entrance was wet from the rain, and I wondered if it might be slippery. As expected, the woman slipped right in front of me. At that moment, to my surprise, she fell towards me, then cleverly climbed on top of me, using me as a cushion to avoid the fall herself. "Whoa, what are you doing? It's dangerous." Ignoring my grimace of pain from hitting my lower back, the woman retorted,
"What's with that face? It's your fault for being there, isn't it? You're blocking the entrance. Because of you, I had such a terrible experience."
leaving me stunned. She didn't bother to apologize or help me up. Before me, taken aback by her attitude, a hand was extended. It was a man who had been cleaning the floor who helped me up.
Are you okay? Geez, what a woman. You've had a rough time, haven't you?
"Thank you." Struggling to get up, my skirt was soaked and covered in mud. With a meeting with a business partner ahead, I couldn't even sit like this. Feeling at a loss, a man offered me his unused work clothes.
I'm sorry, I couldn't prepare other clothes for you. I'll show you to a place where you can change.
The receptionist, who had been watching the commotion from inside, also spoke up. I explained that I had come here for a business meeting with the president and asked her to inform the president that I would be a little late due to the mishap. Thomas, the president of the company I was going to negotiate with, kindly agreed to change the time.
Our employee has been very rude. We'll send someone to bring you the change of clothes. You can discuss matters even in work clothes if necessary.
The receptionist guided me to the executive office, where I waited for Thomas. I was rubbing my sore lower back in my borrowed work clothes when I suddenly opened the door with a loud noise and a woman entered the room. To my surprise, it was the same woman who had just moments ago used me as a cushion.
"Could you leave today's negotiation to me?"
She shouted loudly, but upon realizing the president wasn't there, she shifted her gaze towards me. She scrutinized me in my work attire and sniffed disdainfully.
"Who are you? This is the executive office. It's not a place for a dirty-looking person like you. You're sneaking into here and skipping work."
Unbelievably, she seemed to not remember that she had just pushed me down and used me as a cushion. Infuriated by her incredibly rude attitude, I was about to retort. But she didn't give me a chance and continued to berate me.
"How old are you? You're supposed to be above me, right? Working in those work clothes. You're pathetic. I'm Tara, the department head here. I'm not supposed to even talk to losers like you. I'm a winner, so naturally we shouldn't even be having a conversation.
Just as I was saying, just as I tried to explain, Tara, the department head, screamed.
Hey, your hands are covered in mud like a farmer's. You're making this room smell like dirt.
With those words, Tara swiftly reached for the pitcher placed in front of me.
The muddy farmers will be cleansed with water.
With a splash, cold water came pouring down from above. For a moment, I didn't understand what was happening. Suddenly, the woman in front of me poured water over my head. I was left standing there dumbfounded by the unexpected turn of events. However, Tara, instead of apologizing to me, flashed a mocking smile and made a shooing motion as if to drive away a dog.
What are you doing? Get out of here. This isn't a place for someone like you.
Actually, it was Hillary, the president, who introduced me to this company. I had consulted her about wanting to learn about a company with excellent sewing techniques, and she had introduced me to this company.
If it's sewing, this place is the best. But there are also some bad rumors. I don't know if they are true, but there's apparently a woman named Tara there who's really something.
The president of this company, Thomas, is a close confidant of Hillary and a truly wonderful person who loves clothes. However, it seems that the problem lies with his younger brother, the vice president. He let his doted-upon daughter join the company on nepotism grounds, and despite having no achievements for several years, she was suddenly promoted to an executive position. When the president expressed his concern, the retired chairman intervened, saying, "Well, she's your dear niece, isn't she?" As a result, Tara, a 33-year-old department head with nothing but pride and incompetence, took the position. Since Hillary assured me that aside from the vice president and Tara, there were no issues and that the sewing was outstanding, I decided to visit the company myself to assess the situation, and I'm glad I did. As a result, I experienced firsthand that this company is run by some truly outrageous individuals in executive positions. No matter how good the sewing may be, this company's promotional project is like my own child. I can't entrust it to an untrustworthy party. Wiping away the droplets dripping from my head, I gazed at the woman in front of me. I had already made up my mind. And who might you be? Well, it doesn't really matter. You'll be held accountable for what you've done. With a smile on my face, I delivered my ultimatum, punctuating each word carefully. Tell the chairman to cancel the $100 million deal.
What?
The woman widened her eyes, her mouth gaping in astonishment. She seemed to not fully comprehend what was being said. But she had just poured water over my head, not realizing that I was the CEO of the client company who had come for a major business deal. Does she really think she can proceed with the deal as if nothing happened? This is no joke. Just as she had done to me earlier, I firmly pushed her away with one hand as I spoke. Come on, just go away. I don't want to waste my time on you. Slowly but surely, it seemed that even this dense department head, Tara, was starting to grasp the situation. From her arrogant attitude just moments ago, it was evident that she was now showing signs of panic.
Wait, what are you talking about? Wait a minute, a $100 million deal? Could it be you? You're from the company celebrating its 10th anniversary, aren't you?
Well, apart from us, are there any other $100 million deals out there? I spoke to Tara, who was hastily blocking the exit upon realizing I was the business partner, in a cold tone. Could you move aside? You're blocking the exit. I had a terrible time today because of some ignorant woman. Thanks to her, my suit is ruined. Tara seemed to realize that my words were directed towards the woman who had been pinned down outside, echoing what she had said earlier. Her eyes widened in realization.
No way, you're that person from earlier. You must be kidding.
Remember now, earlier you pinned me down. Thanks for that. These work clothes were lent to me by a kind employee after I got soaked and covered in mud. You left without even apologizing and insulted me, I added in a low voice. So it's your fault I'm in this work clothes. After contacting President Thomas and explaining the situation, he said it was okay to discuss matters even in this attire. That's why I was guided here. After finishing my explanation, I took out my business card, placed it on the table slowly, and showed it to her. Well, we probably won't meet again. I'm Cheryl Burt, the CEO. I don't intend to collaborate with you, so I don't need your business card. With that said, I pointed to the door and shouted at her. Come on, take that and report to the president. Let him know the $100 million deal is off because of me. Tara, trembling hands, turned pale, her face going beyond pale to ashen. Her gaze shifted back and forth between the business card and me, as if she were a broken doll. It's too late to cry over spilled milk. It's because of looking down on people just because they're wearing work clothes that this happened in the first place. No, there's no distinction of honor or disgrace in occupation. This is a result of her ridiculous pretense and prejudice. I snored in contempt. It wasn't a lie, was it? Well then, I'll excuse myself from the pitiful loser. Saying that, as I try to walk past Tara, she desperately clings to me.
Wait, please. That wasn't my intention. It wasn't. I was in a hurry to wrap up the negotiations with you, but then you got in the way.
Me? She retorted impatiently when I glared at her.
No, it was me. I accidentally bumped into you. It wasn't intentional. If I had known it was you, I wouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, please forgive me.
What is she saying? Even if the other person is in a different position, it's not excusable. First of all, my negotiation partner is President Thomas. You had nothing to do with it in the first place. Do you really think someone like you can replace the president? Don't underestimate our deal, okay? Let go. I'll call security. In response to my brusque attitude, Tara finally clings to my legs. Disheveled hair, she doesn't even seem to have the composure to care about her own face anymore.
Don't go, please. It's just that I didn't know it was you. I'll apologize, so please just stay quiet.
Perhaps thinking that apologizing to me won't change the situation, she even goes so far as to say such things.
You'd be in trouble too if the deal fell through, right? You won't find anyone willing to take on such a big deal at this point. If you stay quiet about this, I'll thank you personally later. How much do you want? I can make it all pocket change.
I was infuriated by her audacity. What a despicable person. I've had enough. Are you trying to bribe me? Cut it out. I couldn't help but raise my voice.
What's going on here?
Did my angry voice echo through the hallway? With a voice tinged with panic, a man hurriedly entered the room. He looked momentarily shocked as he saw me, with my fierce expression and Tara desperately clinging to my legs. However, he quickly realized that Tara must have done something wrong. He scolded her sternly.
Anyway, Tara, Get up from there.
He urged the man who seemed to be his secretary from behind to take Tara out of the room. Tara was lifted up by the arms and forcibly taken out.
Wait, hey, please listen to me. It's not my fault. I didn't know. Please listen.
Shouts like a mad person echoed from the hallway. The man frowned at this, shook his head slightly, and sighed.
I apologize for the disturbance.
I could only manage a wry smile. There are no words to describe such disgrace. He deeply apologized to me.
I apologize for causing you so much trouble. That person is a relative of mine. I am embarrassed to have shown you such a shameful sight. I am Thomas, the president with whom you made the appointment today. May I ask what happened?
I told President Thomas everything that had happened exactly as it occurred. And I conveyed to him the decision to terminate the deal. In light of these events, we will terminate the deal. I have heard from Hillary that your company's sewing technology is excellent. But I'm sorry, I don't want to do business with a company that would appoint someone like that to the executive position. Thomas sighed and smiled bitterly as he told me,
I understand what you're saying. From here on, then, let's talk in private.
and he relaxed his shoulders. And I wonder if he meant it as an apology to me. He told me the inside story.
I've had my own troubles with my niece. She's the chairman's only granddaughter, so he spoils her rotten.
Thomas apparently has trouble with her, too. After taking a deep breath as if to change his mindset, he made a clear statement with a somewhat relieved expression.
I've made up my mind about this. I'll hold the vice president and Tara accountable. I won't involve the chairman. It's unfortunate that this has involved family matters.
I'm sorry to hear that things turned out this way. And so, the major deal fell through. Since then, I've heard from Thomas about what happened to Tara, the vice president who is her father, and the chairman who had encouraged her arrogance. As a result of this incident, the president conducted a thorough internal investigation without listening to any rebuttals from the chairman or vice president. It was confirmed that both the vice president and Tara had been displaying outrageous behavior towards employees. Not only were they regularly using abusive language, but the vice president and Tara demoted employees they didn't like. Because of this, talented employees were either sent to rural areas or left their jobs after giving up on the company.
I demoted them to a local subsidiary as contract employees. That subsidiary was where they sent employees they didn't like. From now on, the demoted employees will train Tara and the former vice president as their bosses.
Ironically, from now on, they will be used and manipulated by those they have belittled and scorned, who will resent and despise them. It's not hard to imagine what their daily lives will be like. I couldn't help but laugh. It's about time they took responsibility for what they've done. With a smirk in his voice, Thomas continued.
Well, in their case, that alone isn't nearly enough as an act of atonement. It's widely known among the employees. After they return home, their lives won't have a moment's peace. It's what they deserve.
It seems they're reaching out to the employees who were treated unfairly, ensuring their return to work, among other things. Despite the ordeal, I'm glad justice was served thanks to me. And the chairperson, who was spoiling his granddaughter Tara, was also punished in his own way. Thomas chuckled as he continued.
With Tara and the vice president's misdeeds exposed, the chairman, who had favored them, was also held accountable. It's only natural. Despite having retired, he kept meddling in things at his granddaughter's behest. Losing his power within the company, he chose to retreat to the countryside as if running away.
Thomas's laughter was bright. I'll have a chance to work with him when the problems go away and the company atmosphere improves. Later, I reported the whole incident to Hillary, who had introduced me to Thomas's company, and apologized for wasting his introduction.
I didn't think it was that bad. I'm sorry for causing you trouble, and I feel bad for you.
Hillary apologized to me as well, so I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. A few days later,
Well, this won't make up for it, but
Thomas said, and then he introduced me to a rival company that was confident in sewing. The atmosphere there was friendly and the negotiations went smoothly. I was able to make a satisfactory deal. Despite everything that happened, thanks to Thomas, I was able to establish a new and wonderful connection, so I'm grateful to him. And there was another incredibly happy event that I couldn't handle alone. Actually, with the connection Thomas introduced me to, there was an unexpected twist. The person in charge of the business was a man of the same age as me. He originally worked as a fashion designer but became interested in materials and ended up working for a sewing and manufacturing company. His knowledge extended to using new materials and unconventional weaving techniques. We hit it off immediately and he proposed, let's develop a fabric that's fitting for the 10th anniversary commemoration. I readily agreed. We exchanged ideas, brainstormed together, and created a glossy fabric with colors exactly as we envisioned. This material will become the face of my brand. And through our many discussions, a new bond was formed between us. He and I got married. After the 10th anniversary celebration, we immediately moved to the adjacent venue and held our wedding ceremony. The wedding dress, made from the new material developed by him and me, was handmade by him. It's the best. Of course, Hillary, who introduced us, and even Thomas, who had brought such misery on that worst day, were invited to the ceremony. Who would have imagined that such happiness would come from that terrible day? All's well that ends. This couldn't be a perfect ending,